Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2, Section 4 of Sustainable Development class. Our group consists of 4 dedicated members, that is Brother Kashfil Aziz bin Zainuddin, Sister Nur Christina binti Zainal Arifin, Sister Nur Fatima binti Aziz, and me myself, Asia Mutiah binti Muhammad Nasir. In this video, we will be presenting our group project proposal named Love Food, Hate Waste. So without further ado, happy watching!
So first thing first is the issue. The issue that our group has already chosen is food waste among IIUM students. Moving on to the next part is the problem. As we all know, Malaysia is well known for being a foodie's paradise. When it comes to dining options, residents and visitors are spoiled for choice. Everything from night market to fancy dining are all possibilities. However, having so much food resulting in of food being thrown away. According to Solid Squander Management and Public Cleansing Corporation, Malaysians waste enough food to feed 12 million people every day. Apparently, the world wastes about 1.4 billion tons of food every year. The main problem for this issue is that a lot of people lack of nutrients, especially children under the age of 5.
So, based on the proposed issue, the 2030 agenda that could be related to its goal 12, where it is associated with relevant targets that need to be accomplished inter alia to ensure that by 2030, half per capita global food waste at the retail and consumer levels, and reduce food losses along production and supply chains, including post-harvest losses. So, we aim to reduce food waste among the IIM committee that consists of IIM students, staff, and the cafe operators. Therefore, there are 4 main objectives that will lead us to achieve the aim of the project, which are firstly, to identify and study the problems regarding food waste within the IIM community. Second, to measure and analyze the current amount of food waste of the IIM community. Thirdly, to initiate awareness campaigns regarding food waste and its impact. And lastly, to introduce and normalize food waste management, which is food composting. Food waste is a food that is appropriate and of good quality for human consumption that is thrown either because it has been retained over the expiry date or because it has been permitted to expire. So it also may be related to food that has spoiled over time and occurs in the food supply chain at the retail and consumers level. In simpler terms, food waste can be defined as anything that people eat, buy or cook, such as leftover from a meal, expired food, stale food, and also blemished food and vegetables. So this kind of situations happens when there is some unreasonable individual tend to take things for granted by tossing their food out just because it not be as delicious as they thought, or they simply do not want to eat it. So it can be proved where in Malaysia, about 16,688 tons of food waste is generated per day. To put it simply, it demonstrates how Malaysians should adjust their habits and attitude about this issue.
So for objective number 2, that is to measure and analyze the current amount of food waste among IIUM community. So first thing first, we will take note when the cafe is busy, and then we will provide a separate trash bin so that we can measure and weigh the food waste. The second one is we will conduct an interview with the cafe owner from any mahalah to obtain data and information on food waste among IIUM students. Lastly, to learn more about food waste, we will conduct a survey among IIUM students who live in the mahalah. So next is a video of me interviewing one of the cafe operator in IIUM. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Can I know your name and your age?
So my name is Muhammad Rahman and I am 28 years old.
Can I know your position in this cafe?
Now I'm currently holding a cafe operator position.
How long have you been working as a cafe operator?
I've been working as a cafe operator for almost 3 years, and I got this role from my father, and he was the cafe operator before me.
Which days and time are the busiest in this cafe?
From my observation, every day is almost the same, but the busiest time is at lunchtime because students have their break, and dinner time because students do their assignment in the cafe.
Do you notice how much food student throws away?
Yes, because my workers as a cleaner keep complaining me every day that the student didn't finish their foods.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to the planning for the third objective of our project, where we would like to conduct a food waste awareness campaign. So what we're going to do in this awareness campaign is, first, we would like to place some barriers around our campus to inform the people in IIUM about the seriousness of the food waste issue and how dire food waste impact to the environment. As we may already know, food waste produces a large amount of methane, where according to the National Geographic, methane is about 28 times more powerful than carbon dioxide in trapping the heat as well as warming the earth. At the end of the day, if there is an excessive amount of greenhouse gases like methane, carbon dioxide, and chlorofluorocarbon that absorb radiation and heat up the Earth's atmosphere, it will result in causing global warming and also climate change. So by putting banners around our campus, we are expecting IIUM community will be well aware of this issue that threatens our mother nature. Okay, for the next plan for this campaign is we would like to organize a talk about food waste reduction and its management, and we plan to invite Susan Mooney, who is an advocate for the sustainable food system and also the founder of Malaysia's first sustainable food bank, namely as the Lost Food Project, that is feeding the Malaysian and reducing food waste in our country. Sounds great, right? Okay, for the last plan in conducting this awareness campaign is by creating an animated video illustrating the impacts of food wastage, as it will captivate the youngsters' attention, as the IIUM community mainly consists of the students. And our purpose in creating this video is to motivate them to learn more about food waste and encourage the IIUM community to start reducing the food waste.
We would like to introduce our fourth and final objective, to introduce and normalize food composting within the IIUM community. Composting is the mixing of organic garden and kitchen waste materials in a bin or a pile and regularly introducing oxygen. The microorganisms then break down these materials into what we call compost. Compost upholds a lot of benefits, mainly further reduction of food waste, where composting is considered as a food waste management strategy, where chances of food waste being salvaged for the greater good is maximized. When there is lesser food wasted, lesser land needed as dumping grounds and lesser carbon emissions from incineration. 2. Compost acts as fertilizer for the plants. Where the soils are fertile, plants are able to grow healthily, such that it produces genuine and high-quality foodstuff. So as a follow-up to the previous point, we as humans benefit from the drop in landfills, carbon emissions, and the rise in high-quality food products, etc. It is indeed a positive cycle and a sustainable habit, such that both human society and the environment benefit from composting. Here are the steps to start our own DIY compost. First, to get a large container or a bin with its lid at about 1 meter in height. The next thing you got to do is to poke 2 holes of about 1 inch in diameter each at the bottom part of the bin. Next, choose a location for the compost bin or heap in a sheltered area of a garden or anywhere sheltered. Next, to cut the browns and greens into smaller pieces for faster composting. Here is a table where we have classified for you the greens and browns where you can find in the garden or your kitchen or any other waste materials. Spread them in layers on top of each other and add some healthy soil or old compost between the layers. The soil and old compost will introduce beneficial soil bacteria and fungi to kickstart the composting process. The last thing you want to do is to add enough water to ensure that the compost pile is moist like a wrung-out sponge. Do not overwater. These compost bins will be placed in every mahalla in a shady area free from sunlight and rain to cater access for students, staff, and cafe operators to dispose of the organic waste which can be composted. These bins will be monitored and mixed weekly to allow the acceleration of decomposition of organic materials. Successful composts will be used as fertilizers for plantations around the campus. We plan to invite 1 or 2 of our lecturers who has experience and is still committed to composting to guide the IIUM community in kickstarting food composting and make it a habit. Food waste is still one of the world's greatest problems which affect a lot of aspects of life: social, economic, environment, and many more. But that doesn't mean we cannot address it. There are numerous solutions towards food waste, and here we have laid it out to all of you. Maybe not all, but some of them. In the end, it all depends on the individual to make choices for the better good. Let us all hope and strive to become the best servants of Allah and as His vicegerents on earth.
A big appreciation to our beloved lecturer, Madam Aniza Abu Bakar, for her dedication and her advice in assisting us in completing this project and in teaching us throughout the semester. Not to forget, thank you to the Group 2 members for the commitment given in finishing this group project altogether. And last but not least, for all our fellow classmates, thank you for paying attention to our presentation today. With this, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.